What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. The beta is doing beta things right now. I cannot log into the client. I've tried a million times. It ain't up right now. All right, it ain't up. So I can't log in and give you like a cool flashy opening. Just pretend like I'm standing somewhere really cool. All right, just imagine it. We're gonna look at the last dungeon that I was able to test, which I'll show you in a second here. I think it's Ara-Kara, the like Nerubian city. Very, very cool place. We also did it with the Stormbringer enhancement shaman build. So let me just show you what I did there. This is still not yet implemented, the conductive energy. Okay, keep that in mind. This is the hero talent tree, or the respect tree that I ran. I did not run Lava Lash. I just ran Ice Strike instead. And then this was roughly, I think, what I ran. I don't actually show it in the video, which I should have now, but the point is I'm 99% sure this is what I was running. It is a deeply rooted build. We have 1 point in legacy, 1 point in elemental assault. We do have physical wolves, lots of Doomwind stuff. It's all here. Ice Strike plus swirling maelstrom is kind of an extra generator if we need it. You combo that with elemental assault, and then it also gives you additional maelstrom weapon stacks. So very, very good. Now, keep in mind, Tempest is still not working with any like haste modifiers. It doesn't matter as much for enhancement shaman because you just build up maelstrom weapon stacks and then your Tempest will consume them. So that's good. I do really get the impression that like, sorry about my voice. I get the impression that like the Tempest tree, the Stormbringer tree, was built for enhancement shaman because the damage of Tempest is actually pretty good with enhancement shaman because you're buffing it with maelstrom weapon stacks. But when you use it as an Ellie shaman, the cast time is slow. It doesn't respond with like haste buffs, and then also it doesn't do very much damage on its own because you don't have maelstrom weapon stacks as an Ellie shaman. So I think it's functioning pretty well for enhance. It's just struggling for Ellie, and I hope they like work on that because it's, I don't know, it feels awful to play as an Ellie shaman, let me tell you. It feels awful to play as an Ellie shaman. But let me show you Ara-Kara. Ara-Kara, the city of something. What was it? City of Nerubian spiders? Echoes. There you go. Nailed it. Very, very good dungeon. This is cool. This is the second Nerubian themed dungeon. Okay. And we're off to the races right away here. There are some invisible spooders that are going to make your life miserable. And I think this guy over here, I think he's glowing because there's something you can do with professions. I believe there's a professions buff. I think I go check him out later. Anyway, well, I'm not sure. Hopefully I check him out later. I can't remember. The AoE damage for the storm build is fine. Also keep in mind blood DK is completely and utterly busted right now on the this was on the alpha, so on the alpha, but I'm not sure if they're going to change it on the beta. We'll have to wait and see. But the damage is completely busted, so just keep that in mind, please. Remember, this is alpha footage. The numbers are going to be wonky. What we're really interested in is, does this feel good to play? Does the storm build for enhancement shaman feel good to play? I would say ultimately the answer is yes. And I think that there's a good temp. Look at that Tempest damage. Boom, baby. The only like wonky part of it right now is that when your Tempest hits 3 or more enemies, let me look at this really quick. When it hits 3 or more enemies, you get this, right? Arc Discharge. Your next 3 chain lightnings are instant and deal 75% more damage. So you are heavily incentivized to press those 3 chain lightnings, even if you're in a single target situation. No matter what situation you're in, you really ought to cast chain lightning. Like right here, I just pressed Tempest. Oh, sorry. Never mind. I don't have the buff because it didn't hit more than 1 target. But let's say you're in like a boss scenario where he has ads and you hit Tempest and those ads, it splashes and hits those ads and then those ads die. And then now you're in a single target situation because it's just the boss. You're still going to want to use those chain lightnings because they're going to do mega damage. So that's okay. But it also means that like these chain lightnings will consume any maelstrom weapon stacks that you're building up. If you get to 5, for example, they're going to consume that because they're instant cast anyway, and you're incentivized to press them. So I don't know, it can be a little wonky in those kinds of situations where it's like, I'm trying to wait. I want to wait until I get to 10 Maelstrom weapon stacks. I want to build it up. But I have to unload these chain lightnings because they're going to do so much damage. So it's a little strange. I don't know what to really think about it right now. Honestly, it's a bit weird. That's the only part of the tree that's weird, is sometimes you're like, you feel obligated to press these buttons. But also, if you get like multiple Tempest procs, or not, like if you get a Tempest proc and then you use it and then like 2 or 3 seconds later you get another Tempest proc, sometimes that can be weird, right? Because you need to unload those 3 chain lightnings first before you get to the next Tempest proc. Otherwise, you are absolutely going to be wasting that damage. So something to look out for. You might need like a weak aura to like track that. Otherwise, the rest of the tree feels really good. It feels fine. And my ultimate conclusion here would be to say, hey, this scales exceptionally well with stats. And my stats right now are garbage. I have like 15% haste or something on the alpha. So there's a ramping haste buff that you get really quickly right here as a storm strike. Spending Maelstrom weapon stacks grants you 3% haste, stacking, gaining new, doesn't, so you get this like window of haste that you're buffing yourself with, which is very cool and will be very, very helpful in the early parts. Oh, look, there's my build. Look at that. I do actually show it. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Look at that. I freaking nailed it, guys. Look at this. I freaking nailed this. I knew exactly what I did. That's the build. This stacking haste buff will be really, really good, I think, early in the expansion, because I do believe, according to everything I'm seeing on the alpha / beta now, we're gonna have like a stat squish. So I don't really know, Blizzard hasn't said that, but like my stats have been squished on the alpha, so take it with a grain of salt. I'm guessing we're gonna have to build up our stats again. Which means early in the expansion your haste will be criminally low, and that means you're gonna have to work it to get it back up again. And the haste buff that you get from the Stormbringer tree will be mucho bueno. It'll be really, really good, because it will give you haste when you don't have any. Later in the expansion it might not matter quite as much, but anyway, it's still good. This is a boss fight. I don't even know what this boss does. I'm sorry I'm rambling right now. I don't know what this boss does, okay? He doesn't really do anything on normal dungeons. He's just doing nothing, okay? I'm sorry. Ain't nothing going on with this boss. Avon X, alerting shrill. Oh no, I mean he does this like webbing thing, this spooder webbing thing, right? Which is coming up in about 3 seconds here. Gonna be lots of spooder webs, and you're gonna have to probably move the boss, I would assume. You create like you create this ground that is gonna be covered in spooder webs, and then just run away from it, right? You just get away. That seems like the most responsible thing you could do here. So I don't know what's going on with him. My point is simply to say, this build scales. It's gonna scale. We are ramping, we are scaling. Yes, I understand all the memes, but honestly, that's the truth. You're gonna be doing way more damage on this thing once you get a certain amount of haste, because you're going to be building Maelstrom weapon stacks really quickly. Those Maelstrom weapon stacks are going to convert into more Tempests, and then the Tempests, you're just going to keep the cycle going. The Tempests are going to give you those chain lightnings. The chain lightnings are going to do crazy amounts of damage. So your haste is really important here on this build, and it doesn't look like the build is doing super well right now, but I promise you that it will, and it's going to be worth playing the Stormbringer tree. How many like deeply rooted elements procs have I gotten in this entire dungeon? 2 maybe 1. I think maybe 2. So that, right, that's what we're talking about. The more haste you have, the more you can proc DRE. There's another proc right there. When you proc DRE, you can press Tempest and then keep the DRE going, which is really cool. There's my Tempest, and it'll keep defaulting to your chain lightning, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's good. But again, we're not getting very many procs here in this dungeon because the game hates us right now. I'm just kidding, because we have no stats. Oh, also I lagged out super hard right here. Boom, that was a big lag. Also, Tempest is a ranged ability. This is a cool time to talk about this. Tempest is a ranged ability, so I'm gonna target these mobs over here. See, I'm targeting this guy, and then I'm gonna press Tempest. Boom, we get lots of damage, and you can cast that from range, which is super cool. So it's going to do all of its AoE damage. It's going to splash, and it is range, so you have a bit more flexibility there. here's the situation I was talking about, by the way. I have another Tempest proc, and I still have to unload my last Chain Lightning. So I'm trying to do that, but now, because I'm doing that, it consumes a lot of my Maelstrom weapon stacks. So kind of weird, but anyway, that's okay. We got another Tempest here coming up. I'm going to cast it right now. Boom, look at that Tempest. Boom, baby. 200k over here, 100k over there, with lots of splash damage, right? So again, the lightning rod effect is not working, so keep that in mind. It's garbage. It's not working. Okay, but you can have these moments with Tempest where you're just like, boom, you're bringing down. Here's another one. Boom, bringing down another Tempest. Big damage there. And once we have the proper stats, once we start scaling with stats, it's gonna feel a lot better. I promise you, it's gonna feel way better. These are some like also, sorry, these are some big packs that you have to take care of. There's going to be some really good opportunity here for like funnel classes. So I would say like a Shadow Priest maybe, or even I guess Enhancement Shaman with the Elementalist build will be really good at funneling here. You can funnel all your damage into this big guy. Imagine like a bolstering week, right? You need to have funnel classes that can take care of these guys. You don't want to just do mass AoE. So that's more of a maybe a totemic Elementalist Shaman build, Enhanced Shaman build, but something like that. Here's a boss fight. Anub Zeket. Anub Zekt. I say that right? This guy's kind of cool. He has a similar, I don't know, they're doing similar themes, I would say, with the Nerubian dungeons, in the sense that you have to worry about some more circles with this guy. There's another boss in the other Nerubian dungeon that forces you to stay in his circle, right? And then he puts like big puddles on the ground, purple puddles that you have to like get out of, but you while also staying in the circle. This guy makes the entire zone uninhabitable and creates a circle in the middle, right? So now I have to stand in the middle here, and then he starts like launching stuff through the middle of this zone, like Impale. So now you have to like be careful about your spacing. You see I'm getting bugs on me. That's going to be an interesting fight, I think, on Tyrannical Weeks. And you're gonna, again, they're really enjoying kind of this circle mentality with the Nerubian dungeons in particular. I don't know what's going on with that. Somebody who designed the Nerubian dungeons likes circles, I guess. That's my only conclusion there. Here's the last section of the dungeon. This is a really cool section, like visually. Okay, you're gonna look down the last section of this dungeon. You're gonna be like, oh my god, we're like walking into Nerubian hell. You know what I mean? Like, look at this. Look at this. It looks so cool, dude. You are like walking into like the headquarters of the Nerubian Empire. You really are. That's what it feels like. I love this new area. It looks gorgeous, man. They did a fantastic job of helping you feel the weight of like where you're going, you know? There's these big Nerubians walking around. You feel like you shouldn't be here. Okay, this is like the bug capital of the world, and you are not a bug, and you do not belong. So I feel like, yeah, that to me is just it's really cool. I love when they do stuff like that. Here's our damage. We're doing damage. Tempest, come on, buddy. Tempest, boom, there we go. 635k. So the damage is there, guys. The damage will be there. I promise you, the damage will be there for Storm. You just have to be patient. We need a few more stats. Other people are buffed right now on the alpha/beta, excuse me. So just take it with a grain of salt, right? Always be patient, and remember, I don't think that Enhancement Shaman is going to be in a bad spot. Let me make a really quick caveat here, because this stuff just came out today, and obviously we did not have the tier set bonuses when I was filming this. But look at this. Look at the Shaman tier set bonus. I want you to look at this because this is really important. Storm Strike, Lava Lash, Ice Strike, Crash Lightning, deal 15% more damage. That's great. Okay, good for the Storm build. Crash Lightning and Storm Strike, fantastic. Now look at this. Feral Spirits last 100% longer. Whoa. That is a very good tier set bonus that's going to dramatically buff the Storm build, because Tempest will summon a Feral Spirit for until canceled. So you press Tempest and then you press and I'm assuming it's just going to work no matter what. Any Feral Spirit that you have lasts twice as long. So right now, this Feral Spirit, I think, is lasting 8 seconds or so. So he's going to be 16 seconds. And then your regular Feral Spirits are going to be 30 seconds long instead of 15. You're always going to have feral spirits active. In fact, there's going to be multiple times where you have multiple feral spirits available that are all giving you buffs, and potentially you might want to switch into elemental spirits at that point, or you could keep Alpha Wolf just for the big extra damage when you're pressing Crash Lightning. I just want to do a little caveat there because those just came out now. I think that tier set bonus is amazing and is going to especially work well with the Stormbringer build. Okay, it's actually going to be really good for Totemic as well. I'm going to do a whole video on this. It's going to be really good for Totemic as well. But I just want to do a little caveat there. So how is Enhanced Shaman feeling for the Storm build? I think it's feeling good. It's feeling fine. You need to be a little patient right now. Don't worry too much about the numbers because they will get tweaked. They will get tuned. And I promise you, as we get more stats, as we start getting up to like the 30% haste values and even higher, it's going to feel way better. It's going to feel really, really, really good. And you're going to start popping off. You're going to start getting all these deeply rooted procs. And they're going to be hooking into Tempest, which is about how much Maelstrom weapon stacks you're spending, right? You're spending a lot when you get deeply rooted procs. So it's all going to start working together. I promise it's going to feel good. It feels fine right now. The only wonky thing I would say is this arc discharge thing. Sometimes you have to make sure that you dump your 3 chain lightnings before you do your next Tempest proc. And that can just feel a little strange because it's like, it's consuming Maelstrom weapon stacks and you want to press your next Tempest right now, but you've already just consumed all your Maelstrom weapon stacks. So it's going to be a little bit weird, but it's going to be good. We're going to scale with stats. I promise you it's going to be good. The new Feral Spirit bonus is bonkers. This is going to be really, really good for Enhancement Shaman. I think of all the Season 1 tier set bonuses, which I'm going to talk about soon in a video, this is the best one by far. Like by far. It's not even close. It's going to be really, really strong. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Enhancement Shaman and the Storm build and the dungeon, Ara-Kara. That's a new Nerubian dungeon. It's really, really cool. Love that dungeon. I will say one last thing. The only thing I haven't been able to test is the Dawnbreaker dungeon. It has like the dragon riding stuff. It's just like disabled or has been disabled on the alpha. I haven't had a chance to try it. So stay tuned for that. I will do a Dawnbreaker video. I just can't do it right now. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. I will see you in the next one.